Welcome back to the Revive Podcast, everybody. Today we are here with Your Spirit Dies. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Today we're here with Tyler and Brandon.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
How you guys been?
Good. Tired.
Yeah.
I believe it. You
We
guys up in
are,
Connecticut.
Yeah, we've been up here for going on 2 weeks now. We're working on like a first full length record. So
How's that going?
it's been wild. It's been a wild ride. We have a lot of wilder days ahead of us. I feel
Awesome.
Like, so.
Well, I've been looking forward to this episode for quite a long time, and I'm glad we are finally able to do it. We worked out a time, found a spot where you guys aren't recording today, and we're here, and I appreciate you guys being here.
Oh, yeah, dude. Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Of course. Well, I'm going to get into this, and I'm going to ask you guys some great questions. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm going to start off asking you guys first, where did you meet your band, and what made you want to start a band with them?
That's for you.
Okay. So, YSC kind of started as a result. We were, at the time, it was me and our previous guitar player, Mike, from also in Columbia. We had gone to see a band named Divided Life. A lot of those members ended up making the band that's now Adrian. But we went to see them, I think in June of 2019, they played at MBT. And something about that set, like there's been a lot of metalcore bands in the last 6-7 years doing a kind of metalcore revival, but they were one of the ones that really kind of hit it right for us, like just this mix of like the heavy stuff is like with the more riffy technical guitar work. And we were so like, what, we want to try something like that. There were plenty of like other smaller local bands in Columbia doing kind of more straight hardcore or slightly metallically tinged hardcore, but we just wanted to go full send on metalcore and give it a shot. So me and Mike started writing. This was after his previous band Soul Press had dissolved. We got their ex bass player Keegan, and he was like the next one that we got. Then we got a fella named Matt, who I used to play in a band with back a couple years before that, and then Brandon came along.
All right.
So
awesome. And Brandon, you do vocals, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, that guy yells. Yeah, I kind of got brought into the band. Like, I think I was the last member. I knew Mike, our original guitar player. I used to play in bands like a long time ago, and just I was kind of off for 2 or 3 years, and Mike was like, "Yo, you should try to do this band," and I was like, "I don't really want to be in a band." And then I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm gonna go try this out." My girlfriend was like, "You should. You hate your fucking life. You should try to do something useful again." And I was like, "Okay, fuck it, let's go."
Yeah, and you guys are making it up there. You guys are doing big things. I see you guys playing a lot of festivals too.
Thank you. Yeah.
We're trying.
I don't think the band was ever really supposed to do this.
It really was.
Really?
We were just kind of like, let's have fun.
You had no intentions of like.
Not really. Once we
super big.
Released our first record, when we released our first record, it was kind of like, oh shit, this could be special. And then when we came up here, because we recorded up here for our last EP, it definitely kind of like was different. It kind of made us be like, oh, okay, maybe we should try this,
like for real,
Yeah.
And then because I don't want to bleed too much into other questions, because I'm sure a lot of this kind of might bleed into other ones, because this is just about the members. But I mean, it's just like you said, we didn't mean to do something that was going to send us across the country, like this was going to be some, this is fun local shows and stuff like that. But here we are.
Yeah. I like that. So I want to ask you guys what your family members think of the band.
Well, mine's probably a little. My parents are. I mean, his is pretty similar. In that they're in their 60s. They're old country folk. They're not about screaming music at all. There's like a select few bands that my mom I've gotten my mom into over the years that definitely don't have screaming. And I think like when it started to get a little bit more like a little busier and taking more of my time and kind of becoming more of a priority, they got a little hesitant as parents do, but I think they're starting to get it a little bit more. Not
Right.
that they like the music, but that this is something maybe worthwhile to do, you know? What about you?
My dad thinks it's cool. My mom, nah. You know what I mean?
Really?
My mom, like my mom was like a Sunday school teacher in a Baptist church.
Oh,
I grew up in a Southern Baptist church, going to church 3 times a week. My dad's always been a little chiller. My mom is just like, why do you want to do anything that isn't just getting married and raising a family and working a really shitty job? You know, like that's my
yeah.
mom.
Is it they not like the swearing or what?
Oh,
Or
my
just
mom don't
they
even
kind
think
of.
I could. My
Oh,
mom don't even,
really?
you know, it runs pretty deep.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Who would
Yeah.
you say with you guys both is your favorite all-time hardcore band, or
That is
metalcore?
that is a hard
That
question.
is one of my favorite bands of all time in the hardcore realm is definitely Pulling Teeth.
Okay.
That's like metallic hardcore. Like
Okay.
I don't know what it is about that. Like
Mhm.
just fast, kind of deep beaty, like hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
You have bands like Turmoil. Yeah, I kind of definitely
Course.
fall in line with like the metallic hardcore stuff for
Yeah.
sure.
Awesome. Tyler, what about you?
I know it's like I'm trying to keep away from the cliches because I mean, coming from the Carolinas, it's so easy to say prayer for cleansing or undying, but like those are two of the ones that kind of are the blueprint for what we do, you know,
Yeah.
or what we try to emulate in a way. So those are definitely up there. Turmoil, like you said, Indecision.
Yeah.
Those like the weirder metallic hardcore bands, like they're, you know, there's your Earth Crises, whatever. And yeah, that there was like the more like, you know, original form of metalcore kind of is just barely tinged with metal hardcore. But then you get the bands that were kind of trying a little bit of the weirder stuff, like the Dead Guys and all that. And so some of those I kind of gravitate a little bit more towards.
I grew up watching your dad's band, you know.
Oh, really?
Stretch, yeah. Stretch
I don't let people give him recognition. I try and keep him humble.
No, you should. You
Yeah.
should.
I don't let people give him recognition.
We love you, Chris.
Yeah.
Is that where you guys get some of your like Brandon, is that where you get some of like the inspiration from?
Most
From those
certainly.
bands? Yeah.
Bands like Advent, Hopes Fall, North Carolina. Like I'm from North Carolina originally,
Mhm.
so I grew up kind of like involved with like the Charlotte, North Carolina scene,
Yeah.
Greenville, and going like all over the Carolinas for like festivals when I was like in high school or even younger, you know. So like,
Mhm.
yeah, I grew up watching Stretch. I grew up watching Advent, Hopes Fall.
Yeah, and with
Love
those
it.
3 bands you have played on a card with, you guys.
Yeah, it was so incredible.
Yeah,
That
and
was like,
I wanted to ask you about that.
oh, dude, that was one of the most insane experiences of my life. I feel
Really?
like,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Like, even up until this day, I remember being so terrified. Like, that was like the scariest show in my life for
Really?
some reason. Not really because of like the attendance and like how many people are there, but just like knowing that I was there with like bands that I guess I grew up essentially idolizing, you know, like Advent, Joe Mustaine, and like yeah, fucking
And I
Stretch.
was gonna say you guys got added onto that card late, so you weren't
Yeah,
actually on the flyer. Did
yeah,
that like was that hard for you guys to be able to promote the show as well? You weren't able to promote it as well?
yeah. I guess it was harder to promote, but I think we got added to a different flyer like kind of later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we pushed it. Like at that point, we were still a newer band. Like we kind of had an idea that we weren't going to be the draw. Obviously, Stretch Armstrong's playing their first hometown show in how many years? You know,
Right.
like obviously we like Chris just did us a super solid, big solid by just saying, "Hey, throw this local band that's trying to do something, on it." You know, and I thought that was awesome. So
Yeah.
And it was also like, you know, some people, again, like you said, like it wasn't on the flyer or we got added kind of late and there was like an alternative flyer, but like we did as much pushing as we could. But like a lot of the people were kind of coming from from different areas. And
Right.
so one of the coolest thing, you know, a lot of the Furnace Fest crowd was there. And that's how one of the ways we got introduced to some of those folks is because
Oh
they didn't know
yeah.
we were going to be there, you know, and we played and we essentially played to the stretch merch line, but it was sick. Like,
Yeah, it was awesome.
it
But
was
I
still
mean,
really cool.
playing a show, yeah. I mean, I feel like with a lot of bands, they don't really care who's there. As long as you're playing the show, you're playing the show. Like,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It was really cool. We had not played on a stage that big yet. It was
Yeah, totally.
I don't think I've ever played on a stage that big. Like it
1200
was just like
cap.
a whole day.
Yeah.
Like that whole day was like a big plan. Like we had to
Yeah.
be there at a certain time, like really early too.
This is
Kind
the
of
first time we'd ever dealt with like load in time is this time. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
really?
be here early for this
Yeah.
show. We've since like doing tours and stuff like
Mhm.
dealt with that, but like that was like one of our first ones where it was like, oh, load in isn't an hour before door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you have
Yeah.
to get here early.
this isn't
And-
punk time.
Yeah, no punk time.
Oh, yeah.
Like we got to do this.
Yeah. And I mean, I didn't know who you guys were then, and I saw you guys out on the back benches, and I was like, who is that? And they were like, my dad was like, that's Your Spirit Dies. I was like, I don't know who that is. But now I do,
Well,
and
here-
I'm glad I do.
Here we are. You know.
What you guys looking at? Who's behind you?
It's just a bunch of people walking. We're in like the Halloween town of like Connecticut
Oh.
right now.
It's pretty
People
sick.
chasing you. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
how's the experience been?
Oh, up here?
Yeah. You guys just
Oh,
running around
dude.
everywhere?
Dude, we love New England.
Really?
The first week of the recording or like the process, we'll just say process because it's still in process, but we demoed out some song ideas that we had for about a week. Worked on those pretty extensively. You want me to hold you for a little bit? Yeah. For those at home, we were supposed to have like a little arm to hold the phone so we could both be in here pretty easily, but we're having the manual this shit, so it's we find a way.
DIY.
Yeah. DIY till I die.
Yeah. Amen.
But no, like it's so they're actually doing drums right now, so it's kind of opened it up for us to kind of go screw off and do what we want to do. So we've just been visiting small towns.
Yeah.
We went to a pretty cool spot the other day called Holy Land USA. It's like an abandoned Bible themed theme park.
It was awesome.
Dang. Like
And it's so weird to find stuff like that in New England because I think like when you grow up in the South, you kind of don't view any other place in the country as this like super Christian thing.
yeah.
And it's like it's definitely is like it's everywhere. In my travels, I've noticed like every person is the same. Like it's
really?
kind of weird. It's all the South.
Yeah.
Always.
And when you guys are on tour, you don't really get the chance to run around like you are right now.
No. You might get that's the thing, like a lot of people and I mean people have touched on this. There's all the memes that kind of talk about it, but like touring and getting to a town 2 or 3 hours before load in, maybe. If you're on top of
might
things.
go get a coffee.
Yeah. You're kind of generally in the area that you're going to be playing, unless you had a specific thing that you're kind of looking for.
Yeah.
But even then, like you're not really going anywhere. You're just kind of getting to the spot and then chilling until doors and loading and all that. So
yeah,
or getting fast food and where the keys at.
Where
right.
the keys at? Yeah.
And I mean, you guys are always playing shows. Is there ever like, is this making you tired, or is it just just you love doing it?
I'm gonna chime in real quick on that one. Yes, man. I've like in this little 2-month stint, we did a tour, got home for a week, did another tour, got home for a week, and we came up here for 2 weeks. I like want to be in a fucking bed so bad. I want to hold my cats and my dog, and I want to have a kiss with my girlfriend so bad I can't fucking stand it.
Have a kiss.
I'm so ready to be home.
How long until you guys are back home?
We're home for a little bit.
We're gonna be heading back Saturday.
Yeah.
And then we're home for a bit. Like next month we have some kind of minimal stuff. Like we're trying to keep the rest of the year kind of open just to recuperate
and try to write new music and stuff because we're not we're coming back in January to finish everything up. So.
Right. And I mean, this goes for everybody in the band, like to the wives, girlfriends, not really like you guys leaving.
They're supportive.
There's various
there's very
supportive but don't want to see you leave.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, as anybody. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just like when you love somebody, you want to be with them,
Right.
obviously.
Yeah.
So like,
Of course.
It really isn't. But I mean, they've been more understanding and supportive than I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
most part, that's really cool
Yeah.
because a lot of people would not be kosher with this.
Yeah. My girlfriend's very awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I mean,
So-
you guys are you guys like, do you have a team that reaches out to play these shows, or is it just you guys that want to play these shows? Like, are people
Yeah,
reaching out to you? You guys reaching out?
yeah, we have a booking agent, Travis Porter. We're with Forthright, and he kind of like organizes most of the tours and stuff that we do.
Mhm.
The little runs and stuff just kind of like are just kind of random, like the boundaries stuff, because they're on their way to go tour with Dying Wish. They reached out for us to do these like 2 days with them in November. I think it's like what, the 10th and 11th,
4th and 5th.
4th and 5th, November 4th and 5th. Sorry, I get my weekends.
You're
But
good.
yeah, November 4th and 5th, and then we head out for flyover. But yeah, mostly Travis kind of organized them. I did a lot of the DIY booking at the beginning of the band. Like I booked the first 2 to 3 tours. Me and Tyler kind of worked on them together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of cool having somebody step in and be like, "Hey, go here." And
Yeah.
I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to do
We'll be
anything. You
there.
just go there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just,
Well, I
I
mean,
just get in the band again.
yeah, I mean, you guys, so you guys are always normally the opening band. What's the next step for you guys to be the headline?
Uh, headlining, I don't know, dude. I probably have a different answer than Tyler, but like, I'm
Too
cool
much
with being a
pressure?
support band. Yeah. Also, just like fuck playing for an hour.
Yeah,
Like, I'm trying to play 30 minutes and dip. You know what I mean? Like that's
I know
like
what
the
you
dream.
mean. Yeah.
35 top. If we could play a set and get paid good money to play 35, 40 minutes tops, that would be sick. But that's still a ways off. I know he's not stoked on it. And I get it. I don't want to sweat my ass off for 40 minutes, but also like, you know,
I
it's
can't
still
breathe,
fun.
brother.
I can't breathe.
I'm fucking tired, dude. I'm out of shape. Like, yeah.
No, I mean, I think that it's full length, you know, when it comes out, I think it's gonna. Well, I'm hoping. I don't know how to put that. We'll see what happens.
It's
with
kind of like one of those things too. Like you got to pay your dues. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
when you're a new band and you're starting to get tour offers and stuff. Like we're a band that doesn't have any new music out right now or anything. Like we're still playing off of a record that we released a year ago almost. You
Yeah.
know, so it's like
Wow.
when we haven't pushed. We've done a lot of touring and stuff, but like we just kind of stepped into the step up realm, you know, where we're touring with like a little bit bigger artists and stuff like that, you know, like legacy bands we did with Zayo and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like we're going to be the opening band. Like you got to pay dues
Right.
in this. Like
Yeah.
it's just one of those things.
Right. And I
And whenever-
mean,
Oh,
what?
go ahead.
No,
No, you.
go ahead.
I was just saying, it's never. You know, when we think of playing first, you know, we never. I don't know how to say it. It's like it never crosses my mind.
Playing first is kind of dope. Like I get to the venue, I play my set, and then I'm just chilling. Like if I want to go get some halal, like I go down the street and get me some chicken and rice, and like I come back and I watch the bands.
Yeah.
Right.
And like if I'm headlining, I'm just standing around for
5 hours.
5 hours.
Yeah.
And it's like I playing early is kind of sick. It's like
Yeah.
It's definitely the goal. Like obviously it's the goal, but like
the goal is to get
perfectly content to be where we are in the amount of time
that we've been a band.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
are you guys looking to take that next step, or are you guys just kind of good where you're at?
Yeah.
Oh,
At some point we'll try. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
we're trying now.
Mhm.
It's just a longer process, you know.
Yeah.
We're putting out this record and we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's never easy to do. Like no one ever really understands how difficult it is leaving home, coming back for a certain amount of time, putting out records. Like it's hard. I mean, I've never really
There's-
experienced it, but I know
There's
it
a lot
is.
of into it that a lot of people I feel like don't quite understand, and they can't. Like if you've never done it, you can't. Like even when I was a kid, like I remember going to see bands and stuff at shows, and if that band just like sat out in their van the whole time and didn't like interact with like fans or anything, I used to be like, oh, that guy's like a dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would just think that they didn't care. But you were so beat and like so tired on the road sometimes that like sometimes that's all you can do is just sit in the van. Like you just have to kind of recoup and just take time to yourself. It's such a hard thing because
Yeah.
you're surrounded with people all the time, and I need alone time. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've had bands I've loaded in for where they're like, as soon as they get out, they say, "Where's the green room?" They've got their luggage and they ask where the green room is. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, right over there. Like, I don't blame you.
yeah, you're tired,
Yeah.
and like, there's definitely a fine line. Like, I think like bands should interact, especially newer bands like us. Like, you need to kind of interact with people because that's what people are going to remember you by. And that's the best thing I can say about my band is my band is filled with just great people, really nice people who are down to hang out. Like, yeah, but there's just that fine line where it's like you need to relax, you need to breathe.
Yeah. And I mean,
It's
since
just
you guys, oh, what?
Oh, I keep interrupting you. My bad.
No, I
Go
think
ahead.
it's just a little delay. You're all good. What were you saying?
Sometimes you just got to know your limit. Like kind of just
Yeah.
basically reiterating everything that Brandon said. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys are always, playing these shows, which has led to you guys playing a lot of festivals. What's it like, being able to open at these festivals and then hang out at the festival, like, and then watching all these bands play? What's all that like?
That is awesome.
It really
Yeah.
is. Especially when there's like, it's been cool because we've played festivals both with the older bands that we look up to. And then also in the same breath, we've played with bands that have been around about as long, maybe a couple of years longer than us that we really like. And some of them we know. And so like, it's really cool to kind of have a mix of both of those things because it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We play Sleep, and I mean, this year we're playing Flyover, and we got to play with Hatebreed in a festival and like bands that I truly like did grow up listening to like 100%. And then this year we're playing Flyover with Twitching Tongues and God's Hate, like so many kind of heavy hitters in the hardcore realm of music, and it's awesome. It's like
Yeah.
just getting to see those bands, and plus like we're hanging out with a lot of friends, like we've made a lot of friends, like our buddies in No Cure are on Flyover, and that band definitely is like a pivotal moment in my life. Meeting those guys was just like they made all this music shit worth it. Like they're the best people I've ever met, and they deserve the world.
Yeah.
So anytime I get to hang out with them at a festival, I'm stoked. Like I know we're going to get into some weird
shit.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I would go. There's
I
this
just
delay,
they're
man. This
great. They're
delay
great.
is
Sorry.
unreal. The delay. What were you saying? What are you saying?
No, I was just saying they're great. That's all I mean, they're just awesome.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the New England delay that's getting us.
Yeah.
Dude, there's no signal in this fucking stuff.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, man. But hey, I would. God, there we go again. Gosh.
Oh, nothing. No,
The delay's happening. Okay. Well, I was gonna ask you guys. I'd love to break down two of these songs with you guys. I wrote down "Distorted by Absence" and "2,000 Needles." Which one you guys want to start with?
Do Distorted.
Okay.
He
Distorted?
did a lot of that one before I joined the band.
So in this song, the lyrics say, "Giving up the ghost as your soul resigns, my reflection is distorted by your absence. Though you'll live on in unending heartache, how much longer must I pretend that the hurt won't turn to hate?" What does this song mean to you guys, and just what's it about?
So, like Brandon said, whenever he joined, I think because we were heading to the studio. When did we go? December. The first half was in the middle of December. So it was getting time, and we're really bad at this. So bad at the writing part in terms of lyrics and procrastinating. So we were kind of tag teaming it on that record. I think the story may have been the first song that
you
was
had mostly. You had all the way.
Yeah, and so that one comes off like for people who don't know. That's the one that with the YSD name drop at the beginning. It's off of the first record, Process of Grief, and that one started that song earlier that year, well, actually about a year before, I lost my grandma. She was my only remaining grandmother that was still living. And maybe about 3 or 4 months later, my grandfather married to her passed. And so, in a lot of ways, that song is kind of like this is kind of talking about either of them passing. You know, there's lines in the beginning of it that I think referred specifically to her. And I think that's who I was thinking of when I first read that song. It's just kind of, you know, when we do lose loved ones, whether it's your family member, friends, anybody, with the sadness comes a lot of anguish and like other negative emotions, like anger, and so that's what that song is really about. And the distorted by your absence line in particular is kind of looking at how when we look in the mirror and we look at ourselves after an event like this, how have we changed? How has our reflection changed? And that's really what that in part is. And like I we kind of say that T-Fog is like a loose concept. Like it resolves by the end, and it kind of the last song, Effigy of Failure, is kind of about acceptance of the person passing, acceptance that we have gone through this change in ourselves, and we are willing to change for the better back. But yeah, that's really what that first one is about. Is just kind of like this first stage of loss, losing this person, and how it changes us as a person in result. So
yeah. And I mean, is there a reason that you didn't want to keep that inside your heart and you felt like writing it?
It was I over the years, I think because I've lost several family members between 2017 and now, and I think it's like I was starting to get numb to it, and that's something you don't want to become numb to.
Of
And I think part
course.
of it wasn't expressing it. I have a sometimes I have a problem, like trouble expressing how I feel, and so it comes off like not that I don't care, but like maybe I'm not expressing it as much as I could be. And so I think that song in particular was a way for me to kind of talk about those feelings, even though it was literally months and months down the road before I really did. Um, so yeah, it was just kind of like a way to let those feelings out in song form.
Yeah. And Brandon, what do you think about that song?
It's one of my favorites that we've ever done. Like
Awesome.
my favorite song to play live. Like people get into it. Like even though he wrote the lyrics, I definitely relate to those a lot. I've lost so many friends, so many family members, to just like in so many ways, whether it be drugs or uh, yeah, I mean, or just natural death. You know what I mean? Like it's a song that touches on a lot of that, and it's definitely a lot of personal anguish and like how to deal with it. It's hard. The the process of grief in general is just hard. Like
Right.
it's not.
And I mean, there's no easy way to, write about it, but I think with the genre that you guys have, I think it's pretty, well, not easy, but a lot easier to sing about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nobody wants to hear happy shit. You know what I mean? Like they got to hear the hard stuff. It's
Yeah.
like
Doesn't
And I
exactly
mean,
hit.
I mean, there'd be such a difference if you were talking about those lyrics in like a song with just like, a ukulele or something like
yeah,
that rather than you screaming it. I feel like no one really will dive into it as much. You know what I mean?
no,
You definitely can't take it as seriously. There might be this weird like it would be a weird juxtaposition between the two, and it kind of makes it creepy. But like, no, I definitely think that like with this style, these kind of lyrics, like the kind of remorse,
yeah.
like
It's like the genre is based on pain, and like I think that's something every single person alive in this current day and age can relate to. Mental health and just I mean in any form, just like everything's negative now, so it's just like it's super easy to translate that because that's what most of us see, on a daily basis. It's like nothing is okay, you know what I mean?
right.
I know what you mean. everyone's struggling. Everyone's got their own,
Yeah.
happiness and non-happiness and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a never-ending battle to find that balance for sure.
Of course. Well, you guys want to do 2,000 Needles?
Sure. Yeah.
And before we do it, I want to ask if you're okay to do it. Because this seems like a pretty heavy song.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. Of course. It's fine.
Okay. So with this song, you say, all hope is lost, lacerated, I cry out, hatred on their faces, fate is revealed, pushing the blade to my neck, my demise is sealed, God won't hear me.
Yeah. Um, that entire song is about my personal struggle with religion growing up as like a kid, in the South, or like, with parents that were super religious, very Southern Baptist. Um, with hatred on their faces, like probably relates to going to church and like me wearing like a black t-shirt and like everybody at the church thought I was the devil. You know what I mean? Like it's like it was a struggle to find acceptance literally anywhere. Like in the school that I went to, there was maybe 3 of us. Like everyone else was just like your standard, just like preppy kids or whatever, like farm boys and like all that shit. Like I was like one of the kids wearing like death metal t-shirts and like, so everybody thought I was like freak. Um, but yeah, well, most of that song just like relates to uh, personal religious struggles. Like, I'm a lot more comfortable with it now in the age that I am. But like when I was young, it was something I was super self-conscious about, being told that I was going to hell every 45 minutes of my life. And when you're told something so many times, it kind of gets ingrained to your head, like, oh, I'm not a good person. Like I'm just like nobody likes me. So like, like I don't know. It's hard to really explain, but that song definitely it has a lot to do with like the way I was brought up with my family, like my mom and stuff. Like specifically, um, kind of like just never feeling good enough. You know, yeah. The song is pretty heavy. Those lyrics, and I guess I've never really put much thought of it until now. Really,
Hmm.
what those lyrics actually mean to me. But yeah.
And I mean, for the people out there that are listening, the people that wear death metal, hardcore, new metal, all that kind of shirts aren't weird people.
No.
Oh, we are.
Like, well, you know what I mean.
We're
I
not
like,
gonna like
yeah.
kids or
No, like I've seen, like that is my wardrobe. Like I have like that's at
Yeah.
least half of my wardrobe. Because to be fair, like my friends will ask like why I wear so many Stretch Armstrong shirts. Like first of all, because I live with the guy. Second of
You
all,
live.
yeah.
it's free merch. Like it's free merchandise. Like the shirts look cool. I'm gonna wear them because I didn't have to pay for them, and I like the band.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
have
think
about every one of them.
believe me, like, okay, so I'm 31. Brandon, how old are you? 29? 29. About to turn 30.
Yeah.
We grew up in this, it's not satanic panic, but like God knows if everybody, like I was not allowed to listen to Korn as a kid because everybody thought they were devil worshippers. And it's like that same stuff, like, and that's not just a Southern thing. That was like the whole US thought that band was like satanic. It was a weird thing. And it's like, there's not even like a reference to Satan in their music, which is so funny to me.
Yeah.
But it just shows kind of like a hive mind that people get about a certain group of people. Like we're just a bunch of like rednecks, like homegrown fellas. But like just because we wear black shirts that sometimes have weird things on them, we're just completely disconnected. But if these people would actually talk, and it's like most any people, like if you just talk to people, you find out just how much in common you do have. Like a lot of these people, like if we're back home and we go to like a gas station, country store, and you start talking to them about anything, it's like that wall like breaks down pretty quickly. But people a lot of the time have this misconception, and it's still to this day the same kind of shit over and over.
Yeah, I feel like it's not as prevalent as it was when we were kids.
Right.
because like I feel like even in modern day fashion now, you have the Kardashians wearing metal T-shirts. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like it's almost like a fashion thing. Like you got
And
to
they're not
Forever.
seen as like they're not seen as weird kids.
Yeah. You got a Forever 21. There's a Justin Bieber shirt in black metal font. You know, it's like okay.
It's like I wish this shit kind of happened when I was younger.
Yeah. It's like a little more accepted now, but it's like
I remember when Hot Topic was the scary store.
Dude, my mom cried the first time she went to a Hot Topic. Right, like because it was so satanic.
Well, but I will say, compared to Hot Topic now, it was a little different back then.
They had cannibal.
But it's still so silly. That is so silly.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Did we get derailed? We kind of derailed that conversation, didn't we?
Man, no, that was perfect.
Impression.
That was awesome. Well, I'm gonna move on to this next segment. Okay. So I'm gonna move on to the questions and info I have that I did not tell you guys about.
Oh boy, let's see it.
I'm gonna start off with Tyler because I have a lot more for Tyler than I do with Brandon.
Man.
An easy one that everyone pretty much knows. Tyler, you work in the deli at Publix, so I gotta ask you how much you don't like it.
Okay, I guess at the end of the day, it could be worse. So I've worked at Publix off and on for 4 years. I quit my state job recently to focus more on the band and started working more. So this has been the most I've worked at Publix in 4 years, and I gotta say it's not terrible, but dude, deli is not for everybody.
My man is a sandwich art.
You know, artiste.
Really?
I pride myself on a good sandwich. I can make a pretty good one.
Public subs are the best.
They're great. They really are good. I mean, this man knows firsthand.
I know. I do know firsthand.
Yeah.
We got the pub subbies.
Well, he doesn't work at
No, I don't. I'm in customer service.
But you consume multiple subs there a week, probably.
Occasionally. You never know. But I just actually got offered to go like permanently to grocery department. And my manager, I was like, I don't know if I want to do it yet. And he was like, no, you are going to do it. You're going to go in, you're going to change your ROI. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe, like I have to think about it because I don't want to leave up front. I've been customer service for 2 years. I don't want to leave everybody up there. I feel like, I mean, one of the main reasons I haven't left is because of the people who work up front. Like, I love being there.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, every department has its own family.
Yeah. Now, I will say, and you might be able to correct me on this. I don't imagine y'all haven't had a lot of turnover up front, right? Over the last 2 years, is it mostly the same people you've worked with?
Yeah. So I originally started as a bagger because I started when I was 15. Now I'm like cashier, custodian, everything. Yeah. I think I am maybe one of 3 baggers who is still there from when I started.
Yeah.
And there's so many.
Yeah. Like there's a good handful of people that started because I started in 2019. There's still a good handful of people that are still there, but I have seen so many people leave, come and go. Yeah. And I think partly it is because it's the deli and people don't realize what they're signing up for. Like you gotta know what you're getting into when you work.
Oh, of course. Yeah. You for sure do.
And like I had worked like seasonally part-time at Kroger in the deli years prior for several years. So I had some idea, and they carried Boar's Head stuff too. So I knew about the products and all that. So I did have kind of like the cheat code whenever I started at Publix. But people that are coming in there dry, no experience, I can't imagine because it's way busier than I ever experienced at Kroger.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you can relate to this as well, but some of our customer service have real big beef with deli.
What?
Because of like
calling them?
Because of what?
Is it because they have to keep calling them? It's like customers or deli call on 101.
Yep, and because of the like Instacart. like with the
Oh,
online
yeah,
orders. Like
yeah.
I'm normally like do the running a lot, and they'll be like, "Oh, and can you go check deli?" I'll go check the cold case. I'll go check the hot case. Nothing in there. And then they've got
Oh,
like, well, yours is probably different because I have been to plenty of other Publixes and never seen it like mine. But like,
yeah,
I'll look on the window where you get your subs actually, and there will be so many tickets that you
yep.
have to like,
Same
it's,
thing.
yeah, it's,
We get just absolutely fucked by our online system sometimes, and it's like it's bad. Like you'll get like 10 subs that are like due in 30 minutes. You're like, what?
downtown Columbia. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we live the one I work at, is over there in a pretty bigger residential area, and it's a mixture of just normal folks and students. So, you're gonna get some heavy traffic at
Yeah.
the more intense hours of the day. So,
Yeah. And I know that your guilty pleasure is Publix music.
who told you that? Yes, okay, I do like public radio. There's some good songs on it.
Dude, I tune mine out. I could tell you 5 songs. I mean, I could, but like I couldn't tell you any of the new songs they play in there. But
I don't
like,
know the
Like what, Red Hot Chili Peppers?
No,
Shit.
they play the Cranberries in there, man. And I'm telling you, it's
yeah,
got the stuff. Like they play Delamitri. They'll play the Cranberries. They have a couple weekend songs. I think the stuff that I like the most is like from the '90s and the '80s. They play like what's that song from? Oh, I can't remember the name of the song. They just play some like they play a lot of music from the Brat Pack movies. So they have
yeah.
like "Don't You Forget About Me." They have something from Pretty in Pink.
Look at me.
I don't look at. But yeah, I kind of like public music
It's understandable, but to an extent though.
to an extent. There's some shit I hate that Manic Monday song so much.
Yeah, man, Monday.
I hate Manic Monday. Another Manic Monday. Like that shit drives me up
That shit
the
hits
wall.
on a Monday though.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
god. Is it his?
Wait,
Is,
what?
is
Yeah,
it his
more
or is
for
it more
none
for
on
me?
me. He don't know nothing about me.
Well, Tyler,
Oh
I know
boy.
you also love horror movies, and I gotta ask what your favorite horror movie is.
God, man. I like it's so funny because I could easily. There's so many answers. There's so many answers. Um, I think the one that I've rewatched the most over the years is funny because that question you just asked basically comes from it. But I love Scream. Like I love Scream.
That's like the
Um,
only horror movie I can tolerate.
really,
Me and some of my buddies, we watched Halloween night like 2 years ago. We watched Hereditary. Never in a
buddy.
million years.
I we talk about this stuff all the time. So the guy we're recording with
It's
is a
a fucking horror movie freak.
yeah. It's awesome. Like the basement that we record in is horror themed. Like there's like so many posters. He has an entire library of movies. So what we do in our downtime, if we're not playing Rocket League,
Watch movies.
Nice.
we're watching movies. And so we were talking about like the A24 movies the other day, Hereditary being one, and like legitimately, I don't get scared of movies most of the time. But like that was the first movie I left it. I watched it in theaters. I left that shit feeling so unsettled and like grimy almost. It was weird, man. I love that movie.
Yeah, it was not a good movie. But do you ever sit down, eat a moon pie, and drink an RC cola when you do
Yeah, dude.
it? Oh my gosh, there's no way you have it on you right
Dude,
now.
okay, it's empty. It is empty.
Okay.
But when we got pizza yesterday, they had the canned RCs, so we were like, you know what? We got to. There's no
Yeah.
way we can't.
We have unopened RC in here.
It's almost like a good luck.
Been in here since May. Just like it's just
Yeah.
like
It's like a good luck trinket.
What even is it? Is it like Coke?
Yeah. So
Okay.
to me, the taste of RC is planted firmly between a Coke and a Pepsi.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the right line.
Like a Coke is a little bit
It
sharper.
pleases everybody.
Yeah. And people do not give this soda the respect it has well earned in its It's established in 1905, 115 plus years of existence.
I also like to preface I'm not as passionate about RC or pop guy, but
yeah.
RC.
And I know, yeah, and I know Brandon, with you, every time you guys are on like a run of shows or a tour, you're always looking for pizza.
Fuck yeah, baby. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we ate Little Rendezvous, which is like up here, and like we're in Connecticut, which Connecticut just has the best pizza in the country, possibly the world. Like Connecticut, it's just like so slept on. The pizza here is insane. New Haven style pizza, like Sally's and Frank Pepe's or whatever it's called. Like it's like legit the best pizza on earth. You can't like New York style's great. I love New York style, but Connecticut's just better.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And well, Tyler, every Christmas you and Jerry get together and record Christmas music. What makes you guys want to do that?
Oh my God. Now I know where the questions came from. So what was the question?
I didn't think that one would give. I said that every Christmas you and Jerry get together and you guys record Christmas music.
We do.
What makes you guys want to do that?
So Jerry is my friend that lives in Anderson. We actually met in college in undergrad, probably 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. And we became real close friends. And since then, you know, he went to pharmacy school. They've moved back and forth. They were in Greenville at one point, and now they're back at home. And he has a family, so we don't get to hang out as much as we used to, just because with the band and then with his family. But every year for the last probably 5 or 6 years, we plan a weekend and we just do Christmas stuff. We make wassail, which is a traditional Christmas drink. Drink eggnog, make Christmas music, watch movies.
Non-alcoholic.
Non-alcoholic eggnog, edge-friendly eggnog. But yeah, so that's just been our thing for the last couple of years, and got to start looking for a weekend in December to do that again.
Yeah. And I know specifically for Christmas, I guess this one definitely will give it away. You have a figurine that you can tell me more about it. It says "Stay with me until the end, not until the end, always, always then."
Okay, so this is
Final Fantasy.
It's from Final Fantasy. So it's a music box with music from Final Fantasy X, and there's a quote on the bottom. And that was my Christmas gift last year.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's a really good gift.
Yeah. I've got one more for you, and
okay,
that I'm pretty jealous about. But you got to go to watch an AEW event, and you got to watch CM Punk wrestle.
Yeah. So we went there for our anniversary, and again, should I just say who I know these are from?
No, not yet. Don't say it. We don't have to. Yeah, no, we don't have to.
Yeah. No, but yeah, that was really cool. Like, I had never gotten to go to a wrestling event that big, right? And so when we went, first of all, it's just a ass ton of people. And then, like, I'm newer to AEW than WWE. So there's but there's like crossover, you know, like CM Punk came from WWE. There's like Christian Cage and all that. But it was really cool. House of Black was there that night. And so I got to see Brody King wrestle.
Oh, cool.
Insane. I was like, dude, you just played. What was the festival they played at the end of July?
Sound and Fury.
They had just played Sound and Fury not a week prior, and he was already back over in wrestling. I was like, dude, that is crazy. But yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I don't have any more of those. I would have loved to keep going, but I didn't want to ruin you guys' career. Brandon, I tried my hardest to get more on you, but I couldn't.
Brother, I live a secret life.
I know. I figured. I was told.
No, you was told that?
No, not actually like that, but I just mean like I was told that there's not much on you as there is Tyler.
Yeah, I'm pretty low key. I kind of Yeah, I kind of lay low.
The brand is mysterious.
Yeah, we'll keep it for a
Awesome.
little while until
Yeah.
Nardwar or something.
Yes, that's what I was looking for. You call me Nardwar. Well, guys, I appreciate you being on here so much. I've got one more question,
Sure.
and I'll wrap it up. I want to ask you guys real quick what your message to the world is.
Oh
Who wants to
man,
start that off?
Let you do that.
I'll try. This is specifically talking to people in the Carolinas. If you have a single bit of interest in music and going to shows and participating in your scene, don't start a band. Start a band. We have had such a cool resurgence in the last year and a half, almost 2 years, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, specifically in Greenville, like to see all these kids popping up and like starting bands. Because I live in Greenville, you know, the rest of the band is in Columbia and wherever else. And like, but yeah, Greenville is just like, it's so special to see like all these kids coming out and like start new bands. And like, I just hope it keeps going. I hope that more kids start doing it, more kids start doing that. Like, because it's awesome. It's like that should go in any scene. Is to like, if you're interested, like what you do, like what you're doing right now is super. It helps everybody. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
appreciate it.
if you have a heart and like you care about your scene, do something for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just play in bands, book shows, feed bands, house bands, like just buy merch or just go to the show. Like that's all we could ask for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just that's the most important thing I think anybody can do right now. Because South Carolina hit a pretty low point for a while, and to see where it's coming to now, the Carolinas in general, North Carolina and South Carolina, see where it's at now is awesome.
We're blessed to be kind of like in the middle of everything right now, in like the best state it's been in years. It just shows, not as just that, you know, playing as a band, but attending as showgoers, you know, like there's so many times. And like especially when I was younger, I didn't have opportunities to go to shows because they were like too far away. And then when I finally got to Columbia, it hit like a dip, like for years.
Yeah.
And so to see it where it's at, not just Columbia, but like South Carolina and North Carolina in general, is just so sick.
And these new kids are doing it so much better than I think any of us ever really did it. Like, especially my age, like in the era that I started going to shows, like there was just fights, a lot of beef, a lot of that. And like, you'll always have stuff like that when you get groups and groups of people together. But like, it seems like these kids have like a better head on their shoulders in terms of just like not going to shows just to get fights or like, I don't know. It's cool to see the way the kids are handling it now. Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, start bands. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, if you suck, let us help you. Like, let people who've been around for a long time kind of guide you and help you get better. You know what I mean? Like, just practice and fucking play. Who cares? Like,
we all started somewhere.
Yeah, my first bands were trash. Half of these kids that are coming out, and like half of these kids are coming out, dude. It's like their first bands are better than my third. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. Like, speaking, like, I'm just gonna be very specific. Such Cruelty is better than any band that I ever started when I was young, and these guys are young.
Such Cruelty is awesome.
And Candescent,
the coolest kids. Like, Candescent's like, they're ripping.
Like, it's insane. I'm like, dude, why couldn't we have been this good when we were younger?
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Get all the embarrassing memories and go straight to right. So,
well, guys, I will see you on November 5th, Columbia, buddy. And I appreciate you guys getting on here with me.
Dude, of course. Thank you so much for having us.
No problem, guys.